All right, today we got a special guest in the house. We got Jay Hood in the house, man. How you doing, bro?
All right, what's going on, man? Ain't too much. What's happening?
Yo, man, I just want to give you a shout out on your new record. Yo, that record is slamming, bro. Like,
Appreciate it.
I
Appreciate
know
it.
a lot of people haven't checked it out. Y'all crazy. You guys need to check that out. Even the music video is fire. Who produced that track?
It's a guy by the name of Keep an Eye on the Product. He's out of New Jersey, a new producer. He's actually under my camp, so you should be hearing a lot from him this year. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. How did that song come about?
Um, I actually hit Sal Reed probably like last year about doing something because I had a particular song that I wanted him on. But I'm not gonna lie, he didn't, for whatever reason, he didn't see the DM for like a month and a half or whatever the case be. But when he finally seen it, he reached back out to me and told me that he had just seen it and that he was willing to do the joint. But by the time that he got back at me, the one that I needed him, or excuse me, that I originally wanted him on, I ended up putting it on another project. So what I told him was, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna cook something else up that I could hear you on, and once I find that record, I'm gonna reach back out to you and we're gonna get it. So once my guy sent me that beat, I'm like, oh yeah, I hear him on this right here. So I got to reach out to him. So as soon as I got the record, I reached out to him, told him what it was. Um, I didn't have a verse on it or anything yet because I wanted to straight up build something fresh from scratch with him. So I sent him the track. Originally, he was supposed to just do the hook. He did a hook and threw a verse on there and was like, yo, I had to throw a verse on it. You know what I'm saying? So when he sent it back with the chorus and the verse on it. So I'm like, okay, can't turn that down, and it was fire. So you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie, I had like a verse already, but once I heard his verse, I'm not gonna hold you. I went back in and touched my verse up, and and that's how that went down.
Yo, yeah, because the hook is crazy catchy too.
Yeah, yeah,
And the cadence that you came with, the bars and everything was really on point. Like I loved you guys' vibe on that one.
for
You know, the
sure.
video was dope too.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. I directed that as well. You know, I'm just trying to get in my my videographer slash director bag too. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because you gotta like you a really artsy person, I can tell, right? Because you said that you went to art school and everything, like you
Yeah.
can tell. Um, now I feel like that video that you had did, the one to kind of troll people that was saying like, yo, this is the new diss song to
Yeah,
Chic
yeah.
and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yo, man, because people, you're right about that. Like a lot of people will just like, I mean, you got what 19,000 followers on YouTube and everything, right? But like
Hmm.
people not supporting the way that they should really support, right? Like they
Right,
asking for
right.
new music and everything, but it's like when I drop new music, y'all ain't really checking it out then.
Yes, because I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's like it's an unconscious psychological thing that a lot of these people are dealing with. They don't realize that they're actually doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. Like you, it's like you guys only want the controversial content and the content that contains shock value and all that. When someone just tries to straight up just give you quality work, quality music, quality visuals, they're slow to to support that. But when it's something that could possibly be looked at as, somebody talking crazy about somebody or somewhere along those lines, they're gonna eat that up. So I already knew how they was gonna respond to me labeling the video the way I did, but I just ran an experiment just to see if I was right about, a lot of the people, and lo and behold, I was. So I mean, like I said, it was just a little experiment.
Right. And I mean, you got to give it back to the people though, right? Because I mean, like they the ones that complain and they deal it out and like they just always say things like, "Oh, he ain't done nothing," blah blah. But it's like, but when I do something, you're not really seeing that either because you don't care about that.
Yeah, and then at the same time, you're asking for new music and y'all haven't even ran up the old music yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, come on, like if you're gonna ask for new material, at least go grab all the old material so you could be caught up to speed when the new material do drop.
That's a fact. And what I really liked about the song too and the video is you could tell that it's high quality. It's not like you recording off of some home studio sounding like it's not sounding right, right? It's like the
Yeah.
mix is good, the visuals is shot like professional and everything. So I mean, I don't know what the complaint is really.
Man, this you know what it be, man. It's I still deal with a lot of I still get a lot of pushback from a lot of the older consumers that were on guys when I was on the block. They still kind of feel a certain way even after all these years. So I guess they feel like they have to either be on one side or the other. You know what I mean? I get in their mind it's like an imaginary line that has to be there. You can't support both type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you guys, and they don't know none of us in real life. It's just a a musical thing. But I don't know.
But they be the same ones to act like you did something to them personally.
Right, and act like y'all on the payroll or something. Like these people employ you or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's music at the end of the day, and it's just bugged out, man. Like me, I'm able to as a person because I look at things a little differently as far as with artists and things like that because like for instance um a lot of consumers they look at these artists like they could do no wrong. You dig what I'm saying? It's like they're not capable of making mistakes. You know what I mean? They're exempt from making mistakes and stuff like that. Like me, I'm the biggest Tupac fan that you'll ever find. You know what I mean? Like I'm a Pac head. I'm a disciple of Pac.
Me too.
But
That's my
I'm
favorite
not going.
rapper. That's my
That's
favorite
a fact.
rapper.
They the goat to me. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every last thing that that man did was correct and he did it right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd be lying. Like he's the goat, but he wasn't exempt from making mistakes either.
That's a
But the
fact.
thing is, a lot of people don't have that mentality because their favorite artists, you can't tell them nothing about them. They do everything right. They're not trying to hear nothing about them.
That's the definition of a stan right there. They can't be objective, bro.
Right, right. And I've been dealing with that for a long time.
And people are so nitpicky when it comes to you. Like I be seeing people make comments like, take off that Tupac poster behind you. You looking like you in a little kid's room or like all this stuff. It's like, come on, bro. Like, what does
Hmm.
that have to do with anything this man is saying right now? You
Yeah,
know
bro.
what
And
I
the
mean?
thing about it is, these people be like, they create scenarios in their mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be saying people, like, I don't really don't pay attention to none of the comments and stuff like that. But, some of my peoples they may read off comments to me sometimes just so we could laugh and all. And they be like, yo, he look at he in the room. I bet you he gonna be in like, bro, that's my studio. That's actually my studio room where I record my music at. That's why I have posters up of inspirational artists that I look up to. You know what I mean? So I got a Pac poster, I got a Big poster, I got a lot of posters in that room. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the only poster that I choose to show y'all when I do my vlogs. But you know how people are, man. Like you said, they always trying to nitpick at something.
So you appeared on My Expert Opinion 3 months ago, right? And you told your truth about what happened between you and the Locks. Now, this isn't
Absolutely.
something. This isn't something that you haven't said before because you've been on other platforms like Quiet Room and you said the same thing. But this time it seems like it caused more of an uproar. Like, what do you think that was? Why do you think that was?
I mean, the only logical explanation I could give you is that probably because of the platform that I was on, how large it is and how popular it is at this particular moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of easily the top three podcasts, within the hip hop community. So that probably played a large part in it. And also, I could be wrong, but what I think is that since we're existing in an age of trolling, a lot of time, like beforehand, when I was telling my story, like a long time ago, like, because the key point that you hit on, I've told the same story throughout the years. I just may have been able to articulate it a little well as excuse me, a little better as time went along. But like I said, we're living in the age of trolling, so I think my message got across a little better than it did prior to me going on the My Expert Opinion podcast. And like I said, with the trolling thing, when I was telling my story before, people wasn't really trolling them guys like that. You feel what I'm saying? But now, like I said, we're existing in the trolling age where people don't really care who you are. They're gonna troll you just because. So people start jumping in their comments. You know what I'm saying? Asking them about the 60K and like all type of stuff to the point like I think Luch had cut off his comments on a couple of IG posts and stuff like that. So that just let me know right there, that alone, that they was getting at him in the comments because they was tagging me and stuff with them. I'm like, yeah. And I didn't expect any of this. I didn't want any of this, but this is just the things that were taking place. You know what I'm saying?
And I got to disagree with you there though, because I feel like when you were on Quiet Room, you were just as articulate though. Like the way that you
Okay.
were explaining it was pretty much the same way. And like, how many years ago was that? That was like what, 4 years
You
ago?
talking about the Queens Flip joint?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was probably like, yeah, 4 joints.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, what I've noticed with you though is that you've remained consistent with your story though. You've said the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again. Like, usually if you're lying about something, you'll forget the way that
Mhm.
you told it before. But like, you've really consistent with the way that you said it.
Bro, my whole train of thought is, you know, and I think this is pretty much something that everyone knows. Like, once you lie, you have to remember your lie and you have to remember everything that you said so you could keep up with that lie. Like, it's easier to just tell the truth and keep it 100. Like, and with this situation, I've been honest about it from the gate because, like, with me, it's about accountability. As you grow older, you're supposed to be more comfortable with taking accountability for your actions. And I can honestly sit here and tell you, I did a couple of things wrong. You feel what I'm saying? Like the way that I handled a lot of things during that whole ordeal wasn't the right way. I could have went about it differently, and maybe the outcome would have been slightly different. But that's part of growing up, and you know what I'm saying. You realize certain things, but I feel like, and not only me, I think a lot of people may, and I can't speak for nobody, but I'm assuming right now, but I feel like they might feel exactly like me as far as when the responses came out from dudes, which let me put that out there. I wasn't even expecting any responses, but when they did come out, I think that it was zero accountability showed from either of them. You feel what I'm saying? It was more so trying to an attempt to try to paint me out there to be something that I wasn't, or trying to make me look like I was doing something that I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like when I went up there and did my interview, I basically went up there with the intent to promote me and Shaheem's new album that we got coming out. And while doing so, I mean, it's a natural thing. They're going to ask me about D Block because that's like I said before. It's like a large part of why a lot of people know me, and it's still like a misconception and a kind of somewhat of a mystery surrounding what really happened and what took place because people looked at what we created as something amazing because the chemistry was just like unparalleled. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like they're always going to wonder what the hell happened. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to clear up the misconceptions and give people a little bit of clarity as to what really took place. You know what I mean? And I think I did just that, and I think I did it respectfully. I tried my best to be respectful about it. I tried to, you know, somewhat suppress a few things in order for me to try to keep their identities clean and not make them look a certain way to the point that a lot of people was like, yo, bro, you being too respectful and all this type of stuff. And you know what I mean? And I'm just like, yo, I just know
Because you had the
what
kid gloves
happened.
on. That's what people felt like. Like you had the kid gloves on. Like you wasn't really trying to get at them. Like you were really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I did all that already, man. I did that 10, 15 years ago. You feel what I'm saying? And at that time, I could admit, man, I was a little emotional because of all the things that I was dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? And I was a kid, man. You dig what I'm saying?
Did they ever respond to you publicly before the most recent incident?
In different little, little ways, like you know what I mean, like little interviews here and there. They throw their little jack. Well, I'm not gonna say they, so because when I say they, people will look at that and be like, "You talking about all of them?" When I'm really not. Um, Sheik would say like little things in interviews. P not really, but he did a few times. So what people have to realize is this, right? When I first left, I released a statement publicly. It's probably still on Google right now. I released a statement publicly telling people that I was leaving the group and why I was leaving. And I made it like I was real specific with why I was leaving. I said, listen, this is between me and Luch. Luch is the reason why I'm leaving. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And things got a little carried away, and SP felt the need to step in and take up for Sheik, which in this the same thing he did in this instance, right? From the math thing, he was the first one to say something when he wasn't even the one that I was talking about really in the interview. You dig what I'm saying? So he stepped up in like protection mode, And that's how that whole thing, came about. But as I stated on the interview, it was never about like a lot of people, even to this day, they try to, like I said, create scenarios in their mind because whatever people don't care about the truth. That's what I learned. They only care about what makes sense in their mind.
Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining.
Right. They only care about what makes sense in their mind. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you could tell a person exactly what took place, but if that's not what they want to hear, I'm like, nah, I couldn't have took place like that. When it's like common sense too, it's like it'd be like, yo, it's right there in your face, but you just don't want to believe it because it's not what you want to hear, type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right? They don't accept people being logical.
Yeah, like it's crazy, man, for real.
So Styles, he ended up responding to you, right? And you stated that his response was 90% untrue and that he wouldn't be so mad if it wasn't true. So
Hmm.
he said in his response that there were people that had the drop on you, wanted to put hands on you, and he protected you. When you first saw his response, what was your immediate reaction?
Um, I was disappointed to be honest with you. Uh, it was totally unexpected when he said that specific thing. I didn't see what that had to do with anything. You feel what I mean? Like that had absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand. But maybe he did have people that was calling him, telling him that because you had a lot of people running around trying to do things to impress them and all that, try to get on their good side and get in their good grace. So he could have very well had people calling him. But so did I though. I had people calling me, telling me the same type of stuff. Like, yo, I ain't go front. We see them right now. We could do such and such. What up? And I'm like, no, why? Like, because if something ever was to take place, first of all, I never wanted anything to take place like that because if I did, the softest nigga could pick up a weapon and do anything or make a call. Like anybody, you don't have to be. It don't matter who you are. Anybody's capable of doing something like that. But I always was on, under the mindset that, like, look, I'm not. It ain't even that serious. And if first and foremost, the way I look at beef and things like that, listen, I'm going to have to be the one. First of all, I got to be in a financial space, in a good enough financial space to be able to not only fight off a group, but then fight the lawyers in court. You know what I'm saying? For the stuff that happened after that. And I wasn't in no position to do that. So I'm not out here trying to impress nobody and do all this type of stuff. I live the way I want to live and I view things the way I view things. So it was like when he said that, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, man? Like, who cares if you had people that was telling you this and that? You could have, like, so what? If they would have did something, what would they have been doing it for? Because I revealed the truth about what was taking place, like behind closed doors, and it was grimy, and then it might have painted y'all to look a certain way that y'all didn't want the public to see y'all in. Like, come on, bro. But yeah, it was 90% lies. I give him 90%. I say the other 10%, um, because some of the stuff that he said he did, they actually did. Because I brought that up during the interview, like when he said, "Yo, we gave you your name." I said that. I mean, my name was my name anyway because I use my actual real name. But he did suggest that I use Hood as my rap name. And I spoke on that during the interview and I told people that. And he also said, I bet you didn't tell him that. I was the one who said, yo, I would have, you know, I'm gonna take care of everything for you if you wanted to leave. And I said that too in the interview. You know what I'm saying? That's how I knew that he didn't watch the whole thing. That's what let me know. I'm like, he's reacting off of clips that he's seeing online.
Right, but it also seemed like he didn't watch all the segments that Math put out specifically about your situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was reacting off of the clips that Math was putting up on Instagram instead of watching the whole thing on YouTube. Because I'm pretty sure people was tagging him in the joints, and he was just seeing them, and he was just like, oh, man, like instead of like really sitting back, peeping the whole thing out to see where I'm coming from and hear my perspective. You dig what I'm saying? And they didn't do that. He just jumped out the window a little too fast, and it seemed like it came from an emotional space. That's me. I could be wrong, but from me analyzing things and hearing, you know, his response, it seemed like it was emotional to me a little bit.
I definitely agree with you on that. It definitely did feel emotional, in his response, because the topic of the 60K, right? You said that the record label coach provided 60,000 to aid your family at the time because your mother's place was burnt down. A
Hmm.
lot of the talk has been about finances. They said they pay your mom's rent, gave you
Right.
guys money,
Hmm.
there
Cap.
was issues with your advance. I think you were clear in your points that, but it seemed like in their response, it was like they glossed over the actual points and kind of like went at like, I don't know, stuff that would stand out to people like the street stuff.
Yeah, because it's easy to do that because like, come on, by no means am I like telling you guys that they're not. These guys aren't intelligent either. They know what they're doing. They've been prepped to do interviews. They know how to play on the minds of the people. They know how naive some fans are and all that type of stuff. So, and they also know their power as far as with their notoriety and their fame and stuff like that. So it's like you know what you can do. You can sway public opinion just with your stardom. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like you said, they didn't want to touch on the real topic of the 60. They didn't want to go into details about it because it's a real sticky situation. Because that's, Uncle Sam could get involved in that, and lawyers and all the other type of, people could get involved in that, and that's probably something they want to leave alone. But I don't know, man. Like I'll keep saying the same thing. I was disappointed in it. Just hearing it first and foremost, hearing him respond first, kind of like caught me off guard, and I was probably more disappointed because it was him.
Right. And one thing that I kind of noticed was that is sad. It's within hip hop, we always jump right to the street stuff, right? If you got a disagreement with a man and
Mhm.
everything, like it's like you can't call the person. It's just more of like, yeah, I had the drop on you. I had dudes that was willing to get at you and stuff. It's it's never. I don't know. It just seems like it's sad, bro. Like when you really think about it.
My thing is this though, like with even like to go back to that particular thing, like dude, you damn near 50 years old. Like I'm almost 40. Like who cares about that stuff? Like who what type of points do either of us get for even like speaking on something like that? Like who cares, bro? Like you know what I mean? Like that's my mindset and where I'm at with it. Like, oh, dude, like so once he started saying stuff like that, that just showed me where we both are. I'm like, dude, my whole vibe was non-confrontational and I was respectful to you guys every time that I spoke about you. You know what I mean? Um, well, I don't have to be.
I actually think Math was more upset in the video than you were. Like in the interview, like he
Probably,
seemed
yeah,
more like,
probably.
but that 60,000, like, man, like he seemed more mad about it than you were. You were pretty calm. Like, this is the truth, my truth, but
Yeah,
I'm not going, oh, Styles is a bitch ass, blah, blah. Like I'm not getting at him like that at
yeah.
all.
I'm not going because first of all, I'm past that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't dwell on things and place blame on people. I just feel like that whole situation was unfortunate, but it molded me into the person that I am now because sometimes in life you have to go through trials and tribulations. You have to persevere and endure certain things. And that was just part of my journey. You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to stick with them and come out with no album and stuff like that. And, it's just what it is, man. When I learned about the 60, don't get me wrong, I was heated. I was tight. I thought about doing all type of stuff. So people right now, they be like, oh man, like, man, you ain't do nothing about that 60, man. Like the stuff you be talking about in your raps, man. I don't know about that, man. You ain't do nothing when they took that 60. Like, bro, what you want me to do? Like, you want me to go out here try to impress y'all and get locked up for doing something stupid to try like for trying to impress y'all fans or try to make it seem like I'm living everything that I'm rapping about when I got bigger responsibilities. I have a mother that was sick at the time, an autistic sister. If I do anything to put myself in jeopardy and get locked up and be in a situation where I wasn't able to be there for them, I will never forgive myself. You feel what I'm saying?
These are the hypocritical fans because if you did do that, they would be roasting you saying you dropped the bag,
You stupid.
you dropped the bag. How
Yeah.
could you
Like
do that?
you can't win with people. Yeah. It's like it's a lose-lose thing. Like it's just like the same. I view this the same way, right? People be like, oh, he's stupid for leaving. But they would have said the same thing if I would have stayed because they'd be like, he's stupid for staying and they ain't putting the shit out. Like, so it's like, bro, you can't win with people. So that's why you can't live your life trying to please people. You
That's a
feel what I'm saying?
fact.
Like if you could live your life according like the way that you want to live, and you have people that take a liking to the things you do and take a liking to you, that's a plus.
Right.
But to try to please everybody, it's impossible. So you shouldn't even try to do it.
Yeah, because they would have said, "Oh, he was loyal to a fault. He was dumb."
Right. And that's the thing, right? Before, like people always throwing this loyalty word around. Like in order to be loyal to anyone, you have to first be loyal to yourself. So if you allow yourself to make like to remain in a situation where you're getting the short end of the stick and you're not getting what you fairly deserve and stuff like that, you playing yourself short.
I think that the best way to measure it is you do things based off of like your heart and what you can still look in the mirror about. Like if you can still look in the mirror and see yourself and not be ashamed, then that's a good
Hmm.
measuring stick, right?
Right, right. Like I'm gonna tell you something super duper real, right? And I have homies that questioned it when when I did it. And they're like, man, they wouldn't have did that for you and all that. But I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. It's just the type of person that I am. But Kiss don't even know. I got him a $10,000 bag like a year and a half ago. You feel what I'm saying? Like because people come up, they reach out to me to do features. So sometimes when they pay me to do features, they be like, yo, you got any connects with them still? Da, da, da. So I plugged, one of my dudes in that bought a feature from me. I plugged him in the Kiss, man. Got him a 10 band bag. You feel me? Same thing with Pete. Somebody did a song with me. I took them directly over there to the Juice Bar to talk with P manager. I said he got a bag for P. Go ahead and talk. They chopped it up. Um, I didn't do it for Loose because nobody reached out to me for that. But for those two dudes, like I didn't have to do that because I know for a fact they wouldn't do that for me. But it don't matter because that's just the way that I'm cut and the way that I am.
But see, that shows you that you're objective though, right? Because like you can be upset about what happened, but it's not like where like I'm hating them dudes and I'm do everything to destroy them and like just basically fuck
Yeah,
everything.
nah. The way I look at it, it's like, dude, maybe I'm too objective because it's like I give them the benefit of the doubt only because this was their first time being record execs. They never ran a label before. And unfortunately, I was the first artist that had to go through the bad experiences of new CEOs.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, and that's just the harsh reality of it, man. So I don't look at them like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all messed my career up. I hate y'all and all. Nah, I don't. It is what it is, man. At the end of the day, they gave me an opportunity to be heard on a bigger level, excuse me, on a larger level than I was being heard before. So I have to always be appreciative of that fact, and I can never hate them, regardless of how they handled the situation or the things that they did or they didn't do.
So who were you the closest to in the locks,
It was probably Luch.
Luch? So that feel of like betrayal had to cut deep and hurt you then, right?
Absolutely. That was the main cause of everything. That was the cause of the dragon chain. That was the root of every single thing, man. It was me dealing with a collection of different emotions all at one time. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the disbelief, like it was a bunch of things.
Because being a spectator, I feel like you go from this feeling like you guys are brothers, right? This is a
Mhm.
family, and it's kind of a slap from reality that no, this is actually business. The
Right.
relationships are a byproduct of the business, but it's secondary to the business.
Right.
And then like that's hard to, I mean, because they like your big brothers that they were older than you and everything, so like you felt this loyalty to them, right? You looked up to these
Mhm.
guys.
Right, right. And and one thing that I wasn't able to realize during that time, and I was able to realize it a little later on in life, and not just uh, pointing them out for this, because a lot of other people do it, like Jay-Z did it. A lot of other people. It's just the way that the world works. Um, During that time, me being the age that I was, they absorbed that energy. You know what I'm saying? And I brought a brand new energy to them, and I helped them recreate themselves. You dig what I'm saying? Before I stepped on the scene, they was just the locks. When I came aboard, we created the D block and had that D block energy. I brought the young teenage energy to the equation, and I had the people my age more interested in listening to them. after that.
It was beneficial for both sides.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I know people probably be like, oh, but they could have got anybody. They would have did this and that. So why didn't they then? You know what I'm saying? And then when they did, no disrespect to anybody else and no other artists, but when they did, the effect was nowhere near the buzz that I was able to generate. It wasn't the same. Like, you feel me? With nobody they ever picked up.
And it's just another way where like people try to discredit you and dismiss like anything because they're trying to side with the larger artist.
Right, right. And then people will be like, right now, well, Kiss got millies and and the other people he got. Well, listen, let's be honest, man. These guys are on labels slash Kiss's label. You feel what I'm saying? And we're talking about people that's not getting the cosign from all three of them. I had the cosign from all three of them, not just only one. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
So Nore had my expert opinion on Drink Champs, and he brings up the situation with you and the Locks, basically saying I could never interview an enemy of someone I'm cool with. He says the
Right, right.
Locks probably feels like he should believe what people should believe what they say because they're so honorable. You also felt like he was saying Math shouldn't have let you on his podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what he was saying without saying it in so many words.
Right. But Math, he stood tall on his decision because he don't really have a close relationship with the Locks like that.
Hmm.
How did you feel about the journalism aspect? Because Nori has been on record saying he's a journalist, but now he's come out and he said, I'm not a journalist. And I've never said I was a journalist.
Man, I feel like he knows exactly what he did, and he said what he said, and I'm glad he said what he said because it what it did was it pulled back the curtains on what really takes place in the industry, and it shows the consumers just how far relationships in this game go and how people use certain relationships to keep others out. You feel what I'm saying? He really showed that and he co-signed it and he let people know in real time that it still is alive and well and that's how the industry operates and it works. You feel what I'm saying? Like you're trying to say, hold up, because me and these guys had personal issues that you're not supposed to deal with me on any type of level, on any capacity because of that. Like, even though you may be cool with me, so you can't be cool with both. Like, if we had personal issues that you have absolutely nothing to do with, nah, don't deal with him because you rock with him, or you supposed to automatically believe him, even if it don't make no sense. Just believe him, no. Like, no, dude, it don't work like that. And for you even co-signing something like that, or even out there promoting something like that, like you sound questionable, man. Like everything you saying should be questionable. You dig? Like that ain't cool. You supposed to be a real one. You dig? Like you from the Apple, man. Like you a legend. Like so when he said that, I had to speak on it on my vlog series because I'm like, dude, you posted you what you're doing is a form of journalism right now because people will they will be quick to say, well, nah, he ain't a real journalist and all that. He just a rapper giving his opinions on stuff, drinking and stuff. Yeah, but it's a form of journalism. Whenever you're reporting on someone and you're um, spreading news about a situation, you're doing a form of journalism. Whether you want to actually take that title or not, that's what you're doing, man. So with that said, you have to do responsible journalism. You can't just be out there just saying stuff and like, come on, man. Like, have to be more conscious of what you say.
Yeah, because then like people were saying like, oh, he's just a YouTuber. I mean, he's dyslexic and stuff. So come on, he can't even like spell. So like, why would you even like try to hold him up to that standard? But I feel like if you're gonna call yourself a journalist, at least try to live up to that, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's what he's been saying that he is a journalist. And I got love for Nord because he's entertaining, bro. Like Drink Champs is a great platform and everything, but I mean, we gotta hold people accountable for the stuff that they say.
Absolutely.
And when you came out and you said what you said, it was like, oh, now he just hating on Nori, and you know what I mean? Like,
And people with common sense, with any type of with a lick of intelligence, would be like, how in the hell is he hating on Nori by stating the obvious? This dude literally just got on his platform and said everything that I said he said. Like, so how am I hating on him? Because you wasn't intelligent enough to decipher what he just said. I'm trying to break it down in layman's terms for you guys.
and what's crazy though is like are you expecting a person not to respond if somebody brings up their name though?
Hmm.
Like he said your name, right? So like why wouldn't you want to actually comment on it?
Man, again, the consumers, man. A lot of people are weird out here, and you can't expect them to look at things the way you look at things. You can't expect them to be able to digest certain information the way you digest it or retain it because, I mean, as we all know, common sense isn't common. So it's just a weird thing.
So with you being from the streets, right, and now you're in a kind of like a journalistic kind of with your content making and everything, like to speak to what you were saying before, when you're reporting on something, at least you got to be responsible, right? You got to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
responsible for it.
yeah. A lot of the stuff that if I like report something or touch on a topic, I try not to get too emotionally involved in it. I try to like keep myself like balanced or in a space that I'm not like going overboard because people will take that personal. You know what I mean? I don't want to look at things and give my personal opinions like, yo, nah, I'm feeling this. I think it's this because I personally feel this way, or it's like that. Nah, I'm gonna just get them what I see and let them tell me how they feel about it. Because you're not gonna get me caught up in something because I'm saying some crazy stuff. Nah, I know how it works, man.
Right. And I feel like have you seen his most recent episode with CNN with Capone on there and everything and Smoke Champs?
Nah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I ain't see that.
Because on there he says he addressed the situation with you. He said that I would never diss Jay Hood. I got no problems with these people and everything. That's when he said like, "Oh yeah, I'm not a journalist after all, right?" And then DJ EFN says, "We're not journalists. We're here to celebrate the guests, give them their flowers. We're not even here to fact check anything."
Yeah, now you want to say that though, but when Maffin was up there, you were saying the opposite. You like, yo, nah, you should just believe what they saying because they're so honorable and all that. Like nobody never lied on you. Like you know what I mean? Like it's impossible for that to happen. Like, come on, you got to stand on what you said, man.
Right. But he also elaborated on the situation with you. He said it was basically a semantics issue, right? Where you thought he was saying the locks are so honorable when he actually said the locks probably feels that they're so honorable that everybody should believe them.
Okay, I mean, I didn't even see the episode of what you're talking about, so I never even. This is new news to me. I never even knew that he said that. But um, okay, so if he took that route and he's saying that, I mean, maybe they did feel that way, but still, for you to even bring that up, you're supposed to shine light on logic. You know what I'm saying? Like you being in the position that you're in with that platform, you're supposed to introduce logic to the equation. Like, you know what? I hear they may be looking at things like that, but I also hear where he was coming from because he elaborated on what made him or what his mind state was during the time that he left. So I understand both sides of the spectrum. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's something he could have simply did. I mean, I'm not saying he had to do it. He did what he did. I don't really care, but you know,
Right. Because, now with more people being in podcasting, right? And for some people, they consider it a form of journalism, but we don't have a book for street dudes in podcasting, right? So a lot
right.
of times people are kind of like at this difficulty of like, do you follow the street code of just like, do you follow the street code of just like siding with whoever you're cool with? Or do you actually follow the journalistic integrity?
I mean, and that's the tricky thing, man. But it's tricky, but it's not tricky. You have to do the right thing, like Spike Moogie. Like use your. I'm not even gonna say use your intuition because if you use your intuition, you might be like, oh, I'm gonna side with who I think is right. Nah, just do the right thing, man. Just do responsible journalism, man. That's it. Period. Be logical. Look at, like I said, look at things from both angles, all spectrums, and that's the most you could do. You know, and that'll prevent you from being in sticky situations or putting yourself in certain situations where you will be forced to defend your statements.
So, what did you think of Sheik's response on Vlad TV? It felt like he glossed over a lot and kept it more like, I don't like this dude, kind of discrediting your character, but not really addressing anything. And I was surprised too, because I respect Vlad as an interviewer, right? Because he usually
Mhm.
asks like follow up questions to get to the core of things. But he didn't do that on this one. He was more like, I know for a fact that you was pushing J Hood.
Hmm. Man, first of all, to answer your first question, once again, I was disappointed in Sheik's response as well because, like I said, first of all, I wasn't even expecting a response. So when P responded, then I seen Luke's respond. Like I kind of already, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. I knew Luke's response came out like before the general public knew it. So I had already seen it. So I'm like, man, he starts off his interview. First of all, the whole reason why he went on Vlad, let's be clear, was to address me, but they had to disguise it with the other little questions that they had him answer and stuff like that. So when he did finally address the situation with me, immediately when speaking about me, he came from an emotional space. I don't like that kid. That's a feeling. Feeling is an emotion. You know what I'm saying? What does you liking me have to do with what was said during the interview that made you feel like that you had to respond? Like what does you not liking me have to do with that? Let's deal with the facts and let's stick to the topic at hand. So as soon as I seen that and I heard the stuff that he was saying, I'm like, because I already know him. I know what he's trying to do. I know the angle that he's trying to take. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to just display like this image of being so above everything and yeah, I don't nobody owes him no money and all that. Man, listen, bro, like it is what it is. I don't really what I mean? I'm not even there. I don't want to be where he at. None of that. I never said I wanted to be where he wanted to be. I never said he started saying stuff that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. And like as soon as I seen that, I'm like, yo, listen. I just started laughing, man. I had to laugh because it was funny to me.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a lot of deflecting. But what I was surprised about is that it wasn't even a long segment. Like they didn't even talk about it for that long.
Right.
Right. So like it wasn't really addressing that much. I don't know. I mean, with the way that Vlad had followed it up, it kind of seemed more like they had spoken about it prior.
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because, listen, man, like all this stuff, like I said, the whole reasoning behind him going to do that interview was to respond to the My Expert Opinion podcast. You know what I'm saying? But they couldn't like make it obvious that that's what was going on. You feel me? So they had to code it in, like I said, and try to mix it in with the other little questions and stuff like that. But that's what everyone checked his interview out for. They was like, let me go see what he's talking about. Let me see if he's gonna respond. Like we're not gonna sit here and act like naive and act like we don't know that that's what people was waiting for. You know what I'm saying? So they tried to
Why do you think that he didn't respond on his own platform? Like why go to Vlad to respond to that?
because he's seen the route that Styles took.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He like SP going, he did his response in the form of Instagram live video. I'm going to take the approach of doing the interview and doing it on a platform that's one of the biggest on YouTube. So I knew exactly what he was doing when he did that, and it was cool. I wasn't expecting that, but eh, it is what it is, man.
How did you know? Like, how did you see the video before it was released?
Well, I can't tell you everything. I can't, you know what I mean? I got people here. I got people there. I got people a little here,
that
a
that's
little a
that,
lot of
that
places.
was the response I was expecting. Anyways, I didn't know if Vlad showed it to you ahead of time or something like that.
Nah. It definitely wasn't Vlad. It wasn't him.
So a very popular topic of discussion has been whether or not blackballing exists, right? People seem to think that with the internet that there is no excuse anymore. You said the locks blackballed you. Can you identify like specific situations in which they blackballed you?
Listen, I tell people this. Nore sat there and told you himself. He showed you a form of blackballing. He sat there and told you something. It was simple. Look, I would never interview Cuban Link. He just showed you that level of blackballing. That's like just because of a relationship that he has with somebody, I would never extend this olive branch to you for you to come tell your truth or for you to even promote anything. Whether you coming on here to just speak on something that has nothing to do with Fat Dude, I still would never have you on here. Like that's how many other people probably adopted the same way of thinking and probably think that exact same way. Like, no, I'm not gonna have him on here because my relationship with Fat Joe. I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna do this. and then, you know how many opportunities he probably missed because of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like people, it's simple. Like people just choose to overlook things and not look at things for what they really are. Like me, it's a bunch of things. I'm not going to pinpoint just what people did, but it was a lot of situations where people was like, "Yo, I can't really deal with you because I was told if I do this or if I play this record, I play one of your records, I'm not going to get another record from such and such, or if I do this for you, these people not going to deal with me." You know what I'm saying? And even down to different artists and stuff like that. I see certain artists they're saying, "Oh, yo, they pay so much homage." You know what I mean? Like in person. But then when it's time to do a record or something like that, the energy is different. But I understand it, so I never take it personal. It's like a lot of people feel like, they're going to side with the bigger artists and the people that they may need in the future who are already established. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and these guys established, they are already been established for a long time. Um, just to give you a somewhat of a sense of, you know, um, let's say like I want to do something with like I said, with an artist, a bigger artist, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I just don't want to feel like want them to feel like I'm stepping on any toes." You feel what I'm saying? Because if a big artist does a record with me, right? Let's just say hypothetically, it goes out of here, it goes crazy, it's a hit. People are going to look at that artist as the artist or the artist that contributed to helping me or catapulted me into stardom and assisted me with being successful. And for whatever crazy reason, a lot of people out there they still look at the likes and be like, well, I wonder how they feel about that. When they shouldn't feel no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's just the world we live in. So that keeps a lot of people from doing business with me on that level. You feel what I'm saying? They talk to me behind closed doors and all that other type of stuff and stuff like that. But it's the relationships that keeps a lot of things from happening.
So would you say it's more of a direct or indirect or both? Because it's like
Both.
the locks are both. Yeah. So like on one
Phone,
situation,
I'm not gonna put them out there, but multiple phone calls are made throughout the years, and it's that and it's the relationship thing. So it's all of that tied in one. And you feel me? Now we exist in the age of the internet, right? To speak on what you said before, as far as people saying, "Yo, we can't get blackballed with the net." Listen, you still have a such thing as influence. You feel what I'm saying? Like these people have influence. So with their influence and with their relationships, you see that they're able to sway the opinions of certain people just with their influence and their stardom. So how you think that stardom and that influence can't be applied to keep someone out of a certain situation? Like how? If they got you thinking in your mind like blindly, how you think other people would view things or look at things? Like, come on, you have to be serious and look at things from a realistic standpoint. Like the internet, yeah, it's cool. The internet gives you power in the sense that you're able to release what you want to release when you want to release it.
how you want
You
to
feel what I'm
release it.
saying? How you want to release it. But that's awesome. It's awesome. It's a great tool for us to have. But if you really want to take it to a next level, relationships still come into play because you don't need to deal with radio, but it would be good to deal with radio. You feel what I'm saying? And get your record spun and things like that and be on different networks, television networks, etc. And that's where those other relationships come into place. So if you're beefing with or even going through a disagreement with someone that's well established and they have those type of relationships within those like fields, you're still going to run into a problem or some type of issue down the line.
Right. And I think what people fail to realize is that these music execs from back in the day are now at the companies like the streaming services, right? You got Leo Cohen, who is the
YouTube.
head of global music for YouTube, you
Yeah.
know? And so people forget about that.
Yeah. See, they don't even look at it because the average person isn't viewing things from every angle. It's one dimensional. They see what they want to see and they hear what they want to hear. And if it's not, like we were saying earlier, if it's not what they want to hear,
I think that what it is the algorithm, because it's like people want to see more of the same thing, giving them validation and confirmation of what they already believe, right? People get
Mm,
so upset when you have an opposite opinion of them that you can't even just have a regular debate with somebody anymore without name calling, without people going off, without cancellation, all types of shit. It's crazy these days, man.
man, the age that we exist in is, I'm gonna tell you something, right? For the thing that I'm about to say right here, and this is not even crazy. I said this simple thing and my Instagram got taken. I had to start a whole new one. It's like we exist in a society that's so soft you can't even voice your opinion, that of opinion which you're entitled to have. You can't voice it publicly on on any type of social media platform without a group of people attacking you because they don't agree with your statement or your perspective.
That's a fact.
And it's like it's crazy, like it's unbelievable. Like I don't know, you can't say anything. You can't even, like I said, you can't have an opinion. And that's a scary thing.
It's even worse, bro, because now they digging for old tweets, for all this stuff like that, to cancel you for something that you did a long time ago, and not even something like super crazy though, but like times were different back then. Certain things were more socially acceptable, but now you're trying to apply the
Right.
rules of today to those years ago, you know?
And a lot of it is selective too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's selective canceling. Like it's people that do a lot of stuff that gets overlooked. And then be like, well, nah, well, yeah, well, nah. Well, let's get him though. Let's get him. Come on, bro.
So you had this intention of being like trying to help people understand the mindset of J Hood at that specific time in the mid 2000s, right?
Right, right.
You're not saying this is how I still feel 15 years later. Over
Nah,
the
I don't.
years, yeah, over the years you can tell that you've done a lot of reflecting and
Right,
maturing.
right.
Would you say that the way that you handled that situation is one of your biggest regrets?
Nah, I don't regret. I have very few regrets in life, and that the way I handle that isn't one of them. I mean, it was what it was, man. That's just the way that I felt during that time. At that specific time, excuse me, in that specific time period, I thought that everything that I was doing was justified. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I was acting from a an emotional space, and the consumers didn't know what I was dealing with. You feel me? I had to, deal with real life issues. My mother being sick, she ended up passing. My sister having autism, and us just dealing with things like that, having to pay the bills, having to make sure everything get paid, and at the same time try to still remain who I am within the underground and still maintain a certain lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, trying to compete with people that, excuse me, artists that people are looking at as my competition, and me knowing that lyrically on a musical level I can, but financially I can't. But it's like you have to do things that make yourself look good because you know that people that you with aren't doing certain stuff, and you don't want people to look at them a certain way and to make them look bad because you all gonna look bad. So you got to do. It's like you guys don't know everything what the hell I was going through. So it was a bunch of stuff like you. It's like the work that you like, even with them trying to discredit me as far as like with the me being a co-founder. Like, dude, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that that's what it was. You dig what I'm saying? Listen, man. Before I came about, there was no D block. It was only the locks. When I came about, I told you how it happened. Like me, Sheik, my former or not even my former manager, but Sheik's friend, we sat down collectively and they came up with the idea to start it. You know, originally it was supposed to be an outlet just to, push Lucha's album on a solo tip. But it was like, we gotta bring an artist on board. And Hood, you gonna be the first artist. And that was the plan. We came up with it. We didn't even have a name for it. Like if anyone is a real fan, you know that back in the days I was doing like these freestyles with DJ Cool Kid. Before we came up with the name D Block, I was shouting out Locks Entertainment because we didn't have a name yet. SP suggested that we use the D Block name. Excuse me. He suggested that we use the D Block name. So we agreed to use that. But I was right there at that table collectively. I mean, we thought about this collectively. Like I was part of this. but I was just a kid. So the title of being a co-founder wasn't something that I was hell bent on pushing the issue on. I was just more so happy with the fact that I was allowed to be around greats and I was a part of something. If I was older, I would have looked at it for what it really was and been like, yo, listen, I need the correct title in this situation, which is co-founder, because that's what I was, man. The energy that I contributed, the ideas that I contributed, the time that I put in, like everything. I'm the one who helped lift these bricks to build this building. And that's just facts. Like my buzz, my bars, everything that I came with was a part of this. Every deal that we got, I played an intricate part in getting it. Universal didn't want to just sign a Sheik. They wanted a Sheik and a Hood on because that was the D Block movement. The same with Cash. They wanted the same thing. And he kind of used me to get that second deal. And the people, a lot of people just aren't that smart enough to break that down and view that for what it really is, because it shatters the illusion of the way they want to view these artists.
Yeah, first I want to say rest in peace to your mom, man. You
Appreciate
were
it.
you were going through some really difficult circumstances at that time, and at that age, I feel like anybody in your situation would have probably handled it similarly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right. And then you got a lot of people that would have. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people would have went further
right.
and did something crazy. Like, to be honest, you feel what I'm saying? But I always had uh, the thought in my mind that I had to be there for my family. My family was always number one to me. So that alone kept me out of a lot of situations and kept me from doing a lot of stupid stuff that I probably would have did if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, I don't think that people know the ins and outs of everything, right? Like in hip hop, we're just fans, we're just spectators, and we think that we know everything, but it's not true. Like just because you're getting money and you're famous or something like that doesn't mean that like you're exempt from regular people problems, bro. Like like
Right, right.
you got this pressure on you from the family to try to help provide and take care of everybody. And it's like people lack empathy and understanding.
Or select empathy. They empathize with certain people, and then they don't with others. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, I spoke on the episode on one of my vlogs about me. I don't know if it was a 4 year time span or maybe 5, but during the whole time that I was there, I told people that I made about $95,000 or something in like a 4 year time span. People like, oh no, you should be good with that. I should be good with that. I know people with regular jobs that make 65, 70,000 a year. Like, what are you talking about? I'm
Right,
supposed to be
bro.
a rapper.
That's nothing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I'm
nothing.
supposed to be a rapper, and you making that in 4 years, bro. People clearing you in 1 year, man. You feel me? So I'm like, look, bro, it's like one of the first advance was for 35. The next advance was for 25. You know what I'm saying? Actually, was it 25 or 20? It was one of the two. But it's like, even with those two advances alone, 55,000, $60,000 for that, and then just me running around doing shows with them, doing shows alone, everything just probably added up to about 95 in a 4 year time span. And that's like you said, that's nothing.
Yeah, but see, people don't realize that it takes money to make money, right? Like you got to sustain yourself for all those years. You're traveling around. There's expenses. There's a lot of
Right,
stuff.
right.
You got to live up to an image as a rapper too, though, right? Like you know what I mean. You got to
Yeah.
have clothes. You got to have, the jewelry. You got to have all the
I
stuff.
was rapping on a budget though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was making it look like it was more than what it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like,
got to.
I learned that that's like a trait that you develop over time. You're like, you know what, these people not gonna know this, but this is what it was. It's like that's why I made the decision to buy my own chain, because I'm like, look, man, all these other groups out here, they styling, they looking a certain way. Man, we gotta look this way. You know what I mean? Like we gotta look like something. We wasn't the group that was um focused on trying to set trends from a fashion standpoint or nothing like that. That was Dipset. You feel me? Like they was the flashy dudes. G Unit would had all the the jewelry. They was doing all that stuff. We wasn't doing that. We was running around dicky suits, sweatsuits, and all that type of stuff. Running around for the hood and the grimy people. But
3X hoodies.
I'm yeah, all that stuff. And I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie now. We got to shine a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, You guys didn't buy me a chain when we first got our deal, which they were supposed to. So I took it upon myself to get my own. But for the greater good of the group, though, you know what I mean? I'm like, we have to look presentable, man.
Yeah, because if you're looking good, then the whole group looks good.
And if I'm not looking good, the whole group ain't looking good
Right.
because I'm a reflection of them.
So were there key moments that you remember that could have helped set you up as an artist that you feel like they dropped the ball, like not putting you on certain songs or projects?
Yeah, definitely, man. Without pointing fingers, because I don't want to make it like, this isn't me pointing fingers at them thing, but it's looking at things from a business standpoint. Absolutely, is different things that they could have did to that would have guaranteed that I would have been in the excuse me, it would have guaranteed that I would have been in a better position than I was, and I probably would have been in more of a position to drop and be successful as an artist. Like for instance, let's say if and it's just for instance, because this is a hypothetical thought, but I strongly think it may have helped. Like let's say if Sheik had put me on if he let me simply do my part on the Two Guns Up video,
Mm,
that was the biggest song people know D Block from. I wasn't able to do my verse on that. They cut it off. They cut me and Styles verse off, and he went on to another video. It's called Turn It Up.
right.
So if I was able to do my part on that, maybe that would have helped. Also, if he would have put me on the single "Kiss Your Ass Goodbye," that would have did something. You feel what I'm saying? Like if Kiss would have put me on the remix to one of his singles, that would have did something. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's just certain little stuff. Even if Kiss would have put me on the Welcome to D Block with Eminem,
Yeah,
that
what
would have
happened with
even
that? Did you ask about that or they just didn't even offer it?
yeah, I was supposed to be on it. Like he spent me though. And when I say what I mean by spend, he kept telling me, nah, 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 we going I ain't turning in the album without you. I'm not gonna turn it in without you. And he turned it in without me. You know what I mean? And it was what it was. But that kind of like made me feel a certain way because I'm like, if it was ever a song that I needed to be on, it was that. You talking about with Eminem and it's a song for D Block? It's an anthem. How I'm not gonna be on that? Like, so that was kind of crazy to me.
I mean, that song is dope because like he produced the song, right? He actually did the chorus and a verse as well. It kind of confusing to the fans, I felt, because he's not from D Block, although the song is kind of like, oh, like there's D Blocks every single where, right? But like, how are
Yeah,
you not gonna be on the song? You know what
bro.
I mean?
It was just one of those things, bro. I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. Like, how in the world? I don't know, man. It was that was good. That was crazy to me. I never like really felt like I didn't feel crazy about it, but I felt the way like for like a quick little moment. It was momentarily.
And the thing is, those little moments they add up, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's why when I told people I made my decision to leave, it wasn't just one thing, and then people was just looking at it like, oh, he just upped up and just decided to leave. Like, first of all, no, man. For every this is where logic comes into play. Also, again, listen, for every action, there's a reaction. What people seen from me was a reaction. That wasn't just an action. Even a dog gets tired, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's only but so much a person could take before they blow their top, man. And that's what happened. It's just a lot of stuff that's continued to happen, like over the years. Over the years, things that happen, things that happen, things that happen, things that happen, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm not going away. I'm gonna try to stay dedicated to what we're doing, and whatever the case, we're gonna work it out. And I was always like that, and it just came to a point where I couldn't do it no more. I'm like, listen, man. First of all, I'm not supposed to be even trying to be the most responsible one over here. I'm the youngest over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, what? Nah, man, this is crazy. This ain't right, man. And I just couldn't take it no more.
How many years would you say that you were officially with D Block?
I say probably like 5 years.
And so in the 5 year span, like you didn't get to put out an album, right?
Nope.
And so like, I mean, I think for even the average person now, they're complaining in like 2 years. You know,
Oh,
like
they gonna complain in the first year. That's what we
right,
talking about
right.
right now.
So
Hell yeah.
I mean, you think about like how many songs you could possibly record in a 5 year span.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, bro, like you can't be scared to release product. Okay, so let's say you release my album. So what if I don't go platinum? Go back to the drawing board and create another album. That's what albums are for. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how you gonna know how the world is gonna accept it if you're scared to put it out?
And
Like so,
you guys were on Koch too, so it's not like a major label pressure, like being afraid to like you're not gonna do 100,000 whatever, a million first week. You know what I mean? It was
right?
like a different.
But I'm gonna tell you where I went wrong at from the very beginning. The very first mistake that I made was leaving Universal Records because I had the option to stay with them. I
Right, I
think
heard you say that.
they were going through something though. I think they was like switching presidents or something like that. It was like a lot of the staff was being removed and other new people was coming, but I was able to stay there if I wanted to. But she came to me with the proposal of going to Koch. Possibly, not even possibly. You told me you was going to make $3 off each record versus you staying on Universal making 60 cents. It was a no brainer. And I'm like, okay, if you guys would be able to get me out of here, I just got to advance. So I don't know about that, but if whatever, if you could get me over there, I'm with it. And I agreed to go over there. And I should have never agreed. I should have stayed where I was at because I, as a new artist, needed the major label and all the perks that came with being on the major label. You
Right,
feel what I'm saying?
you
Like,
needed that footwork, right? And
yeah, I needed the big machine behind me. When you're an established artist on any level, you can do the indie thing because you already have a base and people are already familiar with you. So that works out great. So when he convinced me to go over there to Koch, people that deal was structured the same way that the Universal deal was structured for a Chic and a HUD album. You feel what I'm saying? They ain't one without the other. So when I went over there, he told me that they wanted him to drop an album first because he was more of a known artist, and that's why he ended up dropping again. So he dropped 2 albums before I even got to drop one.
especially because like they were new record label owners, right? So like I mean, it was they were learning how to do the stuff. So like you needed that experience behind you with like a major label.
Yeah, and let's be real, man. This is what really got me, and it's like people don't really understand this, man. Bro, everybody that was supposed to be looked at as my competition got to drop an album. Man. I'm talking about everybody, no exaggeration, man. You got Jewels dropped the album, Banks dropped the album, Young Gun, Chris and Neef, Young Guns dropped the album, Freeway dropped the album, um, Young Buck dropped the album, Tony Ayo dropped the album, um, State Prop dropped the compilation, G Unit dropped the compilation, Freaky Ziggy dropped the album, Hell Rail dropped the album, JL Ryder dropped the album. Like you could keep naming them.
How was it for you just being in the cut and you seeing all of this happen, like emotionally, like just for you to be like, damn, I need to get my turn? Because I know you was doing mixtapes, but it wasn't the same. Like you wasn't getting that recognition, that shine, you know?
Right. Um, it was tough, man. It was real tough dealing with that. Like don't get me wrong, I was appreciative that I was even in a position where people was even looking at me, but I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to compete. I'm trying to put this music out. Um, I'm trying to take us somewhere else as far as the label goes. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to put us in the books. And I wasn't able to do it. I'm like, man, come on. All of these people are putting projects out. We're sitting here not putting projects out. We're making it look harder than what it is. I have three CEOs that are top tier lyricists. Like normally, if an artist is signed to another artist, it's only one artist that they're signed to. So whatever knowledge that artist that they're assigned to, let's if they're in a situation where they have a good CEO, he's going to be dumping his knowledge into that artist. I had the liberty of having three artists. You know what I'm saying? So the way I looked at it is, look, man, if I'm ever lacking in any area as far as like musically with making the album and creating this project, they're supposed to come in and assist me, or each of them, and tell me what they personally think I'm missing from the album or what I should put on this record or whatever the case be. And that would make the whole process go smoother and then make it that easier. And you have different situations within the industry too, where you hear this often. People tell these stories like, "Oh no, this was my song. I just gave it to this person." You'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's crazy." It could have been something as simple as that because all of us were recording multiple songs and we didn't use every single thing. So it could have been like, "Yo, if you didn't like this, or if you thought it should have been this, why you ain't? Why wasn't anybody building and brainstorming and trying to contribute ideas to making my project, a classic then?" It was never none of that. I was really out there picking my own beats, picking everything, like doing everything myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Because you look at that time period, 50's over there giving alley oops to everybody, right?
Oh yeah,
So like
yeah.
for you to watch that, you just like kind of like, man, like you guys got to help set me up too, you know?
I mean, because that's the way it was supposed to be. That's the way that it's supposed to be in any situation with a person assigning somebody. Man, that's the name of the game. You put your artist in position. You're able to put them in position by you doing the things that you are supposed to do and the things that you're able to do. Like if you know that you're able to put him on this song, or if you're able to put him on this record, or if you're able to do this, or if you're able to spend this money on him, but it's gonna come back. So don't even look at it like that. You do those things because it's for the greater good of your company. I can't name a situation where they invested any of their personal money in me. Never, ever.
That's a strange thing because it's like, why even have that kind of company or have an artist if you're not going to set them up for success, right? Because it looks bad on you. Because like you was like the shooter for them. You know what I mean? Like that you
Because
was
you're able to collect these quick little checks off these the advances. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Like we get the deal, we get the budget, we get the sign off on it. Now we get a couple quick little 100,000, real quick 200,000, and we can bust that down. And as long as you're able to keep getting those little deals like that, you're going to be able to get that type of bread. But you're going to have to pay it back on some level. But you're still going to be able to steal from yourself and get that, those little checks and stuff like that. And that's just what was going on.
So I think it's important that we as men, right, especially older, more mature men, are able to take accountability for our actions. And
Right.
that's the only way that anything can ever be squashed. Now, you've shown that, you know what I mean? And you've
hmm
said in private that they express similar sentiments, but it hasn't been done on a public platform yet, to my knowledge. Do
hmm
you ever think there can be reconciliation? Like, when was the last time you spoke to anyone from the Locks?
I mean, directly, uh, I haven't seen them in a while, man. I don't go out my way to go look for them and all that type of stuff. So I haven't spoken to them in a while. But after I did the interview on math, that was the last time that I was at the juice bar because I went to the juice bar in Yonkers probably the next day after I did the interview, and I seen a few of their friends, and that was like the closest thing to speaking with them, and that was then. So I haven't been in contact with them at all. But as far as a reconciliation, though, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't like the way that they dealt with the whole situation. You feel what I'm saying? Because it didn't even have to go as far as it went. Like, and it shouldn't be what it is right now. It was never supposed to be that. Like, you could have just left it alone. You could have left it at me doing the interview, and not even paid it no mind because, like you said, these are the same things that I've been saying for a decade and a half, and you haven't said anything this whole time. So why wait till now to do it? You could have just ignored it like you've been ignoring it.
Right. Because math is probably the biggest platform that you've been on though, right? To share this story.
Right.
And because I feel like you've said in the past, right, that like you've seen Kiss in the club and you guys like kind of had a moment and you told him like, like I'm sorry for what happened. He said it's all good, like we good. I think you said the same thing with like Chic, right? Or Styles P, one of them.
Now, yeah, I mean, basically the same thing, but the second time that I had seen Kiss, he did tell me it was like everything all good with us, man. You good with me and P, like, but you will. I'm not gonna lie, you probably gonna have to holler at Lucha again though, because he's the one that took it like real to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you probably gonna have to really speak to him again. So I knew what it was with him from then.
Because when I watched this Vlad interview and I see the smile on his face while he's like, saying what he's saying, that he doesn't like you and everything, it seems like a very uncomfortable kind of look. You know what I mean? Like he's obviously hurt or like something. I don't know. Maybe it's not hurt. It's not the right word, but he definitely feels a way.
I think hurt is the right word. You know, respectfully, I think it is the right word. And he has every right to be hurt, just like I was hurt, man. And that's the thing, man. Like we're human beings that have emotions, and once you're able to uh check those emotions and you're in control of them, and that's when you rise to that next level as a human, as a person. Like all this barbaric activities and this barbaric mentality that people have, like, oh, bro, we're supposed to be civilized people, supposed to be able to converse and get to the bottom of things and express how we feel as men, without it we us having to speak on our dislike of a person and all this other type of stuff. Like, what that got to do with anything, man? How we gonna get past this? Like, we don't have to deal with one another at all. I mean, we don't have to get past anything, to be quite honest with you. But if you're going to speak about something, at least come up with like an intelligent solution. You dig? Instead of just coming out here trying to like you said, deflect stuff and trying to make me appear to be like I'm trying to, like I'm riding y'all or something. Like I ain't what I'm doing in the last 20 years. Bro, what do you mean what I'm doing? I've been doing the same thing I'm doing now, grinding independently. You know what I'm saying? Like doing what I do and making my money to survive. Like, like with me knowing the things that you guys been doing behind the scenes. I ain't crying. I'm still grinding. I'm gonna still keep doing my thing. But don't try to make it seem like I'm just not out here doing nothing, man. I didn't release 10 albums already, man, since I've been away from y'all. 10 albums, two collaborative albums, one with another legendary artist. It was in a legendary group, Yuck Mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like we got an album out. Me and Big Twin from Infamous Mob got an album out, and I got like 9, 10 solo joints. And I've made more money on my own than I made when I was with them. So don't try to make it like I haven't been doing anything. I got two ebooks that I wrote. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I've been doing, like, but I guess it's all in what you would measure success by.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I really did respect when I was watching some video on your channel and you were saying, yeah, like I make 5 figures a year every year though still, and I'm able to take care of my family and everything. I'm not balling like making millions, but
Mhm.
it's still good. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing my dream still, and
Right, right.
that's real respectable, bro, because like I don't understand where the criticism comes from people working regular jobs. Like, how could you criticize that? Because a lot of people hate their job.
Right, right.
At least you're doing something that you love. Maybe it's like the way that people look at it is like you said, how they measure success, right? Oh, you supposed to be a big balling artist and stuff because you were a rapper, but
Hmm. See, it's the thing. It's the misconception with rappers. Though. It's like, yo, bro, how you know everybody want to be mainstream? Like, how do you know that? Like, I don't want to be mainstream. I want to be honest with you, man. I want to be in the cut forever, just private, happy, and paid. I don't care about being the most poppinest artist. I don't care about being the littest. I don't want to be none of that. I don't even like being around people like that, to be honest with you. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I rarely go out. I only go out when I absolutely have to, like as far as clubbing and all that type of stuff. Like because it's a repetitive thing. I've seen all this for the last 20 years. Like I've been in the club since I was 15 years old. Like I don't like being around you. I don't want to be around this industry with all this fake stuff and all that. So what make you think I want to be mainstream? It sounds good. It sounds cool. You would probably think a person that rap would want to be all over the TV and all that, but it's a lot of stuff that go with that. Like you have to be able to put a mask on and be a certain type of person. It's like you have to deal with people that may not like you, people that you may not like. It's just like when you go into any other job and you have to put a fake smile on in the face of your boss and you don't want to be around them or something like that. It's a lot of that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of those people that could like fake stuff and be around people that I don't like. I'm big on energy and vibes. So
that's a fact.
a lot of people's energy and their vibes is off. That's why I like choose to stay to myself and I don't be around a lot of people. Like, don't get me wrong, I could deal with. There's people out there that I rock with that I could really be out here running around with and doing stuff with, but I don't want to do all that. I'm cool in the lane that I'm in.
You know, and I think that it's crazy because in this social media era, right? All of it is just about comparison. You go on there and
Hmm.
people like look at other people's lives, they look so perfect, and they're just like all of a sudden it's like they get depressed because their life doesn't look like that for other people. So they think that
Right,
success is supposed to look a certain way. But what the hell is all that money if your health isn't right, if you're not happy, you don't have the family, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different layers to success. It's where you might exceed in one area, you know, you may lack in other areas and other people succeed in that era, you know?
right, right. I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong. Like anybody in their right mind. Um, I do this with the hopes that my fan base grows and I could, the music reaches a larger sector of people and stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm aiming for mainstream. Like, of course, I would like my base to grow and for certain finances to pick up. But yeah, 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 of course, who wouldn't want it? But I don't need the superstardom and all that type of stuff. That's not what I want. Even if I was presented with the opportunity to, yo, you could come out right now and do this and that. Yo, bro, just let me stay in a cool pocket, and I'm good, man.
See, like for me, like I always say that like success isn't just what you gain in the process, it's what you lose in the process, right? In
Hmm.
this industry, so many people they compromise themselves just to get to where they are. And for me watching you from the outside, I can tell like, you know, you don't want to do that.
Right,
You don't want to lose who you are because a lot of people, man, when they slowly do it, then they can't look in the mirror anymore.
right. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'll be the first to tell you. Like, yeah, I may not have half of what all of these new artists have. You know what I'm saying? And I may not be able to purchase a lot of the things that they purchase, but I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool, man. Like, bro, these people have so many other problems that they don't show because they just want to show you guys just the things that look good. You know what I'm saying? They want to make their life seem perfect, like you said, and in reality, that's just not what it is, man. Like everybody, you could see that's the thing about social media. It's so tricky, man. You could be what you want. You could be whatever you want to be. People could get on here and create a character, and you would never know if that's really them or not.
Posing in front of people's Lambos and like,
It
you
happens
know,
every day.
right. Cash in your whole check just to have it in cash and then like you got to redeposit it, you know?
Yeah, yo, bro. People do crazy stuff out here, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like you. I'm not even surprised no more. Like I used to be surprised by the stuff that I used to see. I used to be like, man, ain't no way these people doing this. Ain't no way this person doing that. Now I done seen it all. I'm like, nah. People crazy.
Yeah, man. Because you know why? Because attention is the new form of currency,
Facts.
right? Because like you look at even people that got money, they got like all this stuff, it's not enough for them. They want that fame, they want that validation of like trying to stunt on the internet.
Man, look, man, it's like, yo, bro, the I put it like this, right? Basketball players want to be rappers, and rappers want the basketball player money. It's like even with that, it's like it's bugged out, man. That's probably the I don't even know what to say about it. Aside from that, it's just bugged out, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
And you know what I don't get too? It's like this is what I would never get. You got people who will dedicate their time in their lives to being on a person's page or being on a person's social media that they dislike. They wake up every morning and check their posts religiously. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, bro, I'm different, man. I don't be getting it about people. I'm not about to waste 1 second of my life on a person that I don't care for or that I don't care about. Like, I don't care what you're doing. Like, if I don't like you, why the hell would I care what you're doing?
Bro, you have no idea. Like when I put out videos, right? Like say for like Cuban Link, like people will be like, "I'm tired of this motherfucker. He complaining about the same shit as always and stuff." But they on every single video, they watching every single video, commenting on every single video, and I'm like, if you already know you don't like him, why are you wasting your time coming on the page to do that? Because like for me, like if I don't like something, I'm not even gonna leave a negative comment. I'm just keep it moving. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not
Like
even gonna watch it. That's a fact. Like
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, and like, I don't even understand like why people have that whole mindset. You know?
it's mental, man. You know what it is? And this is not even a joke either, man. A lot of people are just out here living with untreated mental illnesses, man. Because if you dislike somebody and you're following them to see what they're doing on a daily basis, that's a clear indication of a mental illness. Like straight up. Like you might want to seek some help. And this is not even me being funny, but it's a lot of people running around out here on the net with untreated mental illness. Because think about it, man. Anybody has access to a smartphone. Like you don't have to be a certain caliber person to have a smartphone or a computer.
Right.
Anybody could make a profile. Anybody could do anything nowadays. So you don't know who out there, who you talking to. You don't know who leaving these comments. These people could be loonies. Like you don't know who you talking to.
Right. And see, that's the thing. Like, while the internet, the computers, and the technology has made our lives easier in some ways, they definitely have affected our mental health and everything. You know, I
Yep.
feel bad for like the kids coming up, bro, especially for the girls, man, because like,
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm scared. I ain't scared like that. I ain't don't take it like that. But I'm kind of afraid because I don't have any kids as of yet. But I'm kind of like afraid to have a kid due to how the world is right now and everything that the younger kids are going through these days and how they have to grow up. You know, and the stuff that they're dealing with now. And it's like, yo, bro, I don't want to. It makes me think twice about having a kid. Like,
bro, because when we was coming up, it's like we spent a lot of time outside, right? Now it's just
right?
like they in a matrix, a virtual world. Like that's all it is about, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy, you know?
They run around in these internet streets, man. These social media streets. It's different.
Meta
True
world and
story.
stuff, right? Like I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
man. Like, dude, like, man, like you said, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of pros to having the internet and the things that come with it, but it's a lot of cons also. Like one of the cons is, I mean, it's a bunch of cons, but you know, back in the days, you had to possess a certain level of skill to in order to maintain, or not even to maintain, but to obtain a certain level of notoriety in a rap game, or to be recognized and to be looked at as being talented. Period. Nowadays, that's not the case. You only thing you need is a microphone, a 4K camera, or something like that, and a computer, SoundCloud, and or something like that, and you have a great chance of getting discovered or putting out something and building a base, man. Because it's that simple these days. You don't have to be nice.
you look at the technology and like the filters and everything, it can make anybody sound nice, right? It can make somebody sound good. But before, you have to be a craftsman, like you had to be able to perform live, like you was on the street really
Now, if you got a
showing your
gimmick,
skill.
yeah. Now, if you got a gimmick, you in there, like you know what I mean. The only thing you got to wear is some overly tight pants, have a couple, you know, couple artsy tattoos,
Right.
crazy hairstyle, a beat with some knocking 808s, and have a melodic hook. You got a chance of getting in there.
Because you know what it is that people want to be entertained now. That's all. It's about being entertained, because like you might have a favorite artist, but if like their Instagram is not like entertaining to you, people don't like it.
Hmm.
But you might have another artist whose music isn't as good, but you like their personality, you like the access to them, right? Who they're presenting themselves to be. Now that
Right.
makes you like the artist even more. Like that's what's crazy about how we exist in this world now, man. As far as entertainment goes.
Yeah, yeah, back in the days, you know, and I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of a good thing too, because now, like you will see certain artists that you took a liking to, or that was some of your favorite artists, and it was just somewhat of a mystique surrounding them because you didn't like really know how they were as a person, and you didn't know how they act. But now you got the social media, so some of these artists that you may have liked before, you see how they really are. So you're like, yo, this nigga's a cornball right here. Holy shit, this dude is a fucking Ah man, I wish I never seen this dude on social media or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's like that's the downside of it.
Yeah, because you know it's crazy because like before, like you would really be dissecting the person's lyrics to try to figure out who they are, right? Oh, he
Yeah,
said
yeah,
this and stuff like so. Man, like let me find out that so and so is really about this, and but now it's just like
yeah.
you just go visit. Oh, they act in this way. Yeah.
It's just so much. You got people. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're supposed to be out here having fun and enjoying yourself, but all these TikTok challenges and the TikTok videos these grown men be doing, and I'm like, all this. It's a bunch of crazy stuff, man. I try to like to stay out the way. That's the best thing that that I think I do is stay out the way. I do a great job at that. Like a lot of stuff that people be doing, I just be like, bro, I want no parts of it, man.
But bro, you even look at some of these interviews where it's like, you know what I'm talking about too, like where some of these interviews where these rappers, you know what I mean, like really go over the top and are doing something for attention, obviously.
Yeah. Shock value, man. That's the world we live in right now, man. Everything is just for the chance of going viral.
Right? Create another viral moment. That's what it's about.
It's addictive.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Like I don't know how much reading you do, but um like the dopamine hit. That's what it's about, right?
Okay.
Everybody
Yeah, yeah,
wants to
facts.
get that dopamine hit and they put so much emphasis on it that like when it goes down, that's where that depression sets in.
Hey, I'm
And then
looking for my next it's the next thing now. I gotta find out what's gonna get me that again. Like it's
exactly, that's what's so crazy, bro.
and that's the high that we get, man. You get high off the clout.
Mhm.
That clout is worse than dope.
Right. It
I'm
definitely is,
telling
man.
you, man.
Yeah. Yo.
Motherfuckers out here going through withdrawal and shit. Oh, no, I need another viral moment. I
And
gotta do
it gets
something.
worse like what you're willing to do for that, right? Like you see like some of these people, not even like celebrities, but some of these people, like their whole gimmick is will do anything, right? Like they'll lick the toilet seat, they'll
Like,
do
yo, you got another one on videos, man? You got a video, man? Go on another one, man. You scratching, look like a fiend and all that. Yo,
right.
bro, cool out, man. Just relax.
Man, so shifting gears, I want to end this on a positive note, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite memories with the locks? Because I know people don't
Uh,
ask you this. They ask you about the
yeah,
bad, but
yeah,
they don't
right.
ask you about the good, so I want to make sure we get that across too.
Man, see, and that's the thing too. I want to express this to people, man, so they don't get the wrong idea. We actually had more good times than bad times. It's just that the bad times overshadowed the good times, you know, in the media, because that's what happens. Negativity spreads faster than positivity. So it's like, but in all actuality, we had tons of good times, man. We every time we went on tour, it was amazing, man, and I had a great time. We have like a lot of memorable times that took place on tour. It's a lot of stuff that I can't tell, but I mean, at the end of the day, they were good dudes, man. Everything we and it was dope. It was a dope experience, man. It's just the business wasn't correct, so that's what kind of like made everything sour. You feel me? But as far as like being around him, and I had hundreds of good times. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like I said, it's just unfortunate that that business will um, cause relationships to to sour and stuff like that.
With anyone too. That's why they say don't go into business with your family, with anybody,
Right,
pretty
right.
much.
True story.
Yeah, for sure, man. Um, yeah, I just want to thank you so much for your time, bro. Like I really
For sure, for
appreciate you.
sure,
Yeah,
for
man.
sure. Hey, look, everybody, check this out, man. My new single is out right now. It's called No Matter featuring Cyree the Kid, man. It's available on all digital streaming platforms. Go run that up for your boy. It's a banger. The video is out right now. I directed it. New EP entitled "The Covenant" is on the way. It's dropping soon. The single with Cyree is the first single off of that. We're dropping the next single off of the project in about a week or so. After that project comes out, Pesci 4 is coming out, so be on the lookout for that. Then we coming out with a EP. Me and my bro Stickman, we got a EP coming out together. So we working, man. This year y'all gonna get about 7 or 8 projects from ODG Entertainment. So be on the lookout, man.
Yeah, man. In other words, this man is staying working. Okay, so if you asking, and saying he ain't put nothing out in 20 years, whatever, you guys just not looking for it, man.
Yeah, you're just not looking for it. Go to
Yeah,
Spotify, go to Apple Music. They be like, yo, where can I find your album? The same place you can find everybody else album in, man.
yeah.
It's obvious you're not looking because if you did, you all you gotta do is type my name in, man. It pop up like everybody else.